Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. So I'm going to Scott Selections here for Thursday, December 22nd. For again, today's play of the day. Quick recap what happened yesterday. We had a loss in the NBA with the Knicks money line at minus 118 on Bet Online. Knicks ended up leading with about 3.5 minutes to go and then proceeded to not score for 3 straight minutes. And Toronto opened up a decent lead and won the game by 7. Real story was Pascal Siakam, though, who went for an insane 52, 9, and 7. So the game was competitive. We thought it would be, but we had faith in the Knicks to close it out. But we did not picture Siakam going nuclear and looking like prime LeBron. Either way, the Knicks lost the game. Look for a bounce back winner here on Thursday. And for today's play of the day, going to pivot to Thursday Night Football between the Jaguars and the Jets. And for this matchup, going to take a really, I'd say, obscure play, bit juicy, but I think it has a lot of value to it. It's going to be the first quarter under 7.5 points at minus 150 on DraftKings. Time recording of 2:30 a.m. Eastern time. Cover reasons why I like the first quarter under in this game. First reason, 7.5 at minus 150 is actually decent since most books have a flat 7. If you are afraid of 150, I still actually don't mind the 7, but I'm going to play it safe and take the 7.5. So there's a couple reasons why this first quarter total is so low. First reason, quarterback matchup. You have Zach Wilson, who's going to be behind center again for the Jets because Mike White is still battling those injured ribs. And you're looking at Jacksonville's quarterbacks, and there's a bit of controversy going on because Trevor Lawrence is going to start if he's healthy enough to start. They're not sure, though, because he's a bit banged up. It is a short week, so there is an outside chance that Lawrence doesn't play. And if that's the case, you might see C.J. Beathard behind center. But even if Lawrence plays, he should be well below 100%, probably below 70% being on a short week. And I think both quarterbacks will have their struggles in this game. But to go through the Jaguars offense and why they might be particularly up against it, since they are the more threatening unit than the Jets offense. First of all, the Jets might get their best defensive lineman back with Quinn Williams, who missed the last game against the Lions, but he was a full participant in practice on Wednesday. So I do expect him to play in this matchup, which is a big deal because the Jaguars might be missing 3 offensive linemen. So the Jacksonville Jaguars should have some serious problems in pass protection or blocking in general, and I think they should end up struggling offensively as a result throughout this game. But the Jets offense, we know, is not good with Zach Wilson behind center, and on top of that, the weather is going to be atrocious in this game. It's supposed to be cold, supposed to be rainy, and there's also 15-mile-per-hour winds. I believe it's a 100% chance of precipitation, but it's supposed to be in the 40s, the low 40s, and with 15-mile-per-hour winds and the rain, I don't exactly expect either offense to be lighting it up. I think both teams will come out with a very conservative game plan, a lot of running clock, a lot of really ugly and short drives, and I think you'll end up seeing potentially a scoreless first quarter in this game. Maybe it opens up as the players and coaches get more accustomed to the elements, but early on, I think they're both going to try to avoid making any stupid mistakes, and I think you'll end up seeing a very underwhelming and uneventful first 15 minutes. But to go through the actual first quarter stats for these teams, both teams not great in terms of first quarter points per game. Jacksonville is a lot better than the Jets, but the Jaguars rank 15th in first quarter points per game, and the Jets rank tied for 28th. So with Wilson, with Mike White, they've been terrible in the first quarter at scoring, and Jacksonville has been mediocre, but potentially missing 3 offensive linemen and having an injured starting quarterback, I think should definitely limit the actual effectiveness of this offense against one of the best defenses in all football, with Williams back in the lineup, with Gardner, and with Reed in the secondary. I think that both teams should really have a hard time, which is why the total has absolutely plummeted in this game. And I think you'll see an ugly game as a result. But to go through some recent games, the Jets have had a lot of low-scoring first quarters in general. 4 of New York's last 5 games have had less than 8 points in the first quarter. And I mentioned with the actual wind, there's no guarantee that field goals are going to be easy to make in this game. But 7.5, you need a touchdown to field goal or 2 touchdowns to go over. I'll take my chances. I think you might see a field goal, maybe 2 field goals, but I don't exactly trust either team to fully reach the end zone in the first 15 minutes. I'm not sure they're going to reach the end zone the entire first half. But I do think for the first quarter at 7.5, I know it is juicy. I typically don't give out plays above minus 140. But in this case, I'll make an exception for 2 quarterbacks that might have their own issues in this game in bad weather. I think you'll see a very ugly start to this game. So play that once again here for Thursday, December 22nd is going to be on the Jets and Jaguars first quarter under 7.5 points at minus 150 on DraftKings. Bye, everyone.